Hey, Mark, how are you, man? It's
Doing good,
good
John.
talking to
Nice
you.
to see you.
Yeah. Hey, we've been talking a lot about recording and coming together to chat about a lot of pertinent topics that are happening both on the mortgage financial side as well as the real estate side in this dynamic market, and just really excited to have an opportunity to chat with you and really talk about some interesting topics. I know I'm interested, especially with me being in the real estate business and having you as a partner on the financial side is incredible. So just for everybody to know, my name is John McDonald, a Century 21 real estate agent here in the Maryland and Pennsylvania area. I've been licensed for over 5 years, and really just excited to be here and have a chance to talk a little bit about what's happening. And Mark, why don't you introduce yourself to the broader group as well?
Thank you, John. My name is Mark. Obviously, as you can see on the screen, Mark Hunnell with Bank of England Mortgage. Fun fact about Bank of England Mortgage, it was not founded in England, the country. We have no connection with the Queen, none whatsoever. It was founded in a little town called England, Arkansas, and it's now headquartered out of Little Rock, Arkansas. It was originally founded as an agricultural company or bank to service the needs of farmers and agricultural needs. Bank of England expanded nationwide. My office is in Franklin, Tennessee, and we service or produce mortgage loans nationwide. John, you're in Pennsylvania. We help clients in Pennsylvania and Maryland as well. We have a wide basket of solutions for people, and I think when clients come to you, John, they're looking for answers to challenges that they face, financial challenges. I'm really glad that we're doing this together as a team because we can present solutions to folks who are looking to buy a home, not sure how to do it. There's a lot of hesitancy when a person's buying a home. First-time home buyers, very much so. They don't understand the processes, never done it before. They're not seasoned in the process. We are able to help those folks achieve their dreams of home ownership. So I'm excited that we're starting this. I also want to address folks who have owned multiple homes and still need some assistance finding the right realtor to get the job done and the right financing to get the job done.
Yep.
So thank you for having me. I'm so happy that we're doing this. We've talked about it for a while, and it's going to be a great opportunity to share our talents, our teamwork, our ability to help clients achieve their dreams.
I agree. I'm excited, man. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time because I know you're super busy as well. So, Mark, we're coming off. So today's September 22nd. We're coming off the day yesterday where the Feds raised the rate again by 0.75. And one of the questions I get a lot is, oh my God, what is that going to do to the mortgage rates, and what does that do to the market, and as far as my buying power and so forth. So what is your take on what that impact would be, or what we're seeing right now in the market?
Okay, so great question. Mortgage-backed securities are what gets sold on Wall Street. My loan, your loan, everyone's loan gets packaged into a tradable instrument that ends up on Wall Street as a bond, a 30-year bond. We saw Fed Chair Powell raise rates yesterday by 750 basis points. That was the Federal Reserve. So now we're going to talk about two different things. Federal Reserve raised rates by 750. Now their total rate is at 325, 3.25. That's the cost of money from the Federal Reserve. What we see is as the Federal Reserve, and John, do you have that little chart?
Yeah, I'll share
the
that.
little teeter-totter chart that will help our viewers to see. So as you see on the left, as interest rates rise from the Federal Reserve, mortgage-backed security prices fall and yields rise. What is happening in the marketplace is there is a battle for investment dollars. Those investment dollars are controlled by investment fund managers. Those people have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that you, as an investor with mortgage-backed securities or bonds in your 401k portfolios, get the best return for your investment. So there's a heated battle going on right now. And that is, do we buy riskier bonds, which are mortgage-backed securities, because they carry a higher risk naturally, or do we place funds with treasury bills or into treasury bills, which have a guaranteed return of 3.25%? That is the battle that's occurring. So as interest rates rise for the Federal Reserve, prices for mortgage-backed securities fall, and that's why we're seeing higher interest rates. But there are solutions, there are positives to working around this. So that's a brief explanation of what's happening in the market, and that's why we're seeing higher interest rates.
Gotcha. So it's kind of the inverse. As the Feds raise the rates and kind of back away from the purchasing those mortgages, it causes investors to also kind of be a little bit skittish, and it takes those the interest rates up, basically.
That's correct.
Yeah,
that is correct. That's correct.
All right. So then people will also, and I talk to, all right, so how's the market, John, being affected? And, it's bad for the buyers, right? I'm hearing a lot of that, Mark, as well. The interest rates are going up, and so the real estate market is it's going to come down and crash really quickly because interest rates are going up. And although the media is painting that, oh my goodness, prices are dropping and the markets are getting slower, there are fundamentals in the market that are not changing, and it's a completely different market from what a lot of people go back in their minds to thinking about the 2008 market crash that occurred. There are two main factors that are affecting the real estate market and really keeping prices, meaning that the value of a home is staying relatively consistent. The first is being that there's not enough supply, right?
Right.
There's not enough homes out there. So, Mark, you're probably seeing appreciations come back that are still pretty steady because, as my grandmother said, they stopped making land a long time ago, John. So, it's land's finite, and so that's the case. And also, we're seeing builders not building as rapidly as well. So they're not able to keep up with the demand. That's number one. Number two is that the pandemic shifted a lot of how people think, meaning their house. A lot of people that were living inside the cities, major metropolitan areas, are moving out. They're moving into urban and suburban areas, and we're seeing definitely major markets, meaning that large cities like New York and Phoenix, I think, where the people are packed in, they're moving out. So that's causing prices to drop in those. So that the media is picking up on that and saying, hey, prices are dropping, and look, the mortgages are going up. But the reality is, you go out into the rural and suburban areas, the demand is high. So, for example, as I look at York County is steady. It's not being impacted by the rates. In fact, there's still pockets of high activity. But if you go into cities like Baltimore City or some of the major metropolitans, you're seeing it slow. It completely slow down. And that's because there's a migration out of those metropolitan areas. But there is some positives to this, right? The positives to interest rates going up is some buyers are stepping away. They're kind of seeing what's going on and taking a pause, which then allows other buyers that are in the market to be able to win a home and get a home. And a lot of people are like, oh, John, we're worried about the homes that are out there. They're just getting too pricey with the mortgage rate. But now it's a good time to buy, because when you're not up against a lot of competition, and as you probably see, Mark, especially some of the deals I've put through, we have price escalations. So in order to stay competitive, we have to put an addendum into the offer to say we're going to escalate the price, so that if somebody else is up against us, we're going to take that price up. Well, less and less of that's being needed now, with less of those buyers in the market. So instead of having 6+ people against on an offer, you may be down to like 2 or 3, which is a much better situation to be in. So even though the interest rates may be a little bit higher or higher, your overall price of the home may not go as high as it would have been in the prior market, which in the end will save a little bit of money.
Right.
Which I think maybe are you seeing some of that as we kind of progress now, forward? Are you seeing less of the escalations in price, or are you kind of seeing kind of a steady? Still,
I am seeing pricing corrections, but they're not big. On a $300,000-400,000 home, you might see a price reduction of 10,000, 15,000. I mean, that's a small percentage on the value
yeah,
of that home. That's normal. I think the market got overbought during COVID. Prices will, I think they'll give a little bit to entice a buyer, which is a great thing for first-time home buyers, because they're getting better pricing. But overall, there's just simply too much demand. There aren't enough homes. And as those people begin to migrate out of those bigger cities into more rural areas where they can have their family, enough space, enough, like you and I have rooms for offices at home, that's becoming more and more the norm. So even though I think we'll see a small correction, and I don't mean big, I'm seeing $10,000, $15,000. I mean, that's about it.
yeah,
I think in some spot areas you might see more, but overall, over time, you're going to see appreciation. And if you look back 50, 60, 100 years, over time, homes will always appreciate in value, because, like you said, they only made so much land, and there's only so many houses to go around. And when you have more buyers seeking places to live as they're moving out of those bigger cities, you're going to have price appreciation. Perhaps we're going to see a little dip right now, which gives buyers an opportunity to jump in before the next run. And believe me, there's always a next run. Look back historically, go back to the 50s, 60s, 30s. There's always a next run. So if you're a buyer, you want to take advantage of that right now. If you're going to list your home, you also want to take advantage of that, because pricing may deteriorate in the future. We don't know. Who's got a crystal ball? I have one, but it doesn't work.
I agree. Hey,
So
that's a really good point, Mark, about the sellers, because we've been talking about buyers, but right now we are seeing a little bit of a balance in the market, right? It's
That's right.
balancing a little bit more with the buyer and the seller, which is good. The seller still has some opportunities to maximize and get equity out of their home. And to your point, we don't have a crystal ball to see what the prices may drop more. It may not. But as a seller, it's
Right.
a great time to also get your home onto the market, and maximize the equity out, especially if you have plans coming up for 2023. Fall is a busy time, right, Mark? I mean, fall's one of our busiest years, at
Right.
least on the real estate side. We see a lot more listings. We see a lot more buyers in the market because they're getting ready for the first of the year. Hey, I want to be in my new home, or I want to, get, list my home before the new year, so that I start 2023 out fresh. So very good time.
Right. Right.
All right.
I also want to add, John, that if you own a home and you're looking at buying an investment property with you in the Pennsylvania, Maryland area, now is a great time to take advantage of that. So if you're a homeowner sitting on a lot of equity and you've thought about buying an investment property, now is the time to utilize and deploy that equity buying an investment property. If equity drops, if prices begin to moderate more, a potential investor is going to lose some of that equity that's tied up in that home. You and I would agree that getting that equity out to buy an investment property is a good move, because people love having cash flow, right, on their investments, especially if you're going to heading into retirement in the next 10, 20 years. You want to capture those properties and buy them now,
Yep.
so that they can appreciate, and you can have a renter paying the mortgage. So I think that's an important point too, that as prices do begin to moderate, if you're a buyer, take advantage of that.
Yep.
Utilize your equity. Don't let it sit idle, because it's making you literally zero pennies every month that goes by, every day that goes by. The market doesn't care whether that home is leveraged to the hilt or if it's paid off. The market is going to control the value. And while you have a lot of value, take advantage of that equity to contact somebody like yourself, right? And start looking to buy those investment properties.
I agree. All right. Well, Mark, we're going to wrap up here. I think we're talking about our next topic is going to be, hey, is it smart to buy or rent in this type of environment? Looking forward to that discussion with you as we get into next week. But thank you for taking the time this week and today to chat with me, Mark. And I really appreciate your insight, especially with a lot of the chaos and craziness that the media is putting out there about what's going on in the market. It's good to have somebody like you to explain that to me, as well as a lot of the buyers and sellers out there. So thank you, buddy.